Hello, and welcome back to a special episode of The Scaling Therapist. I am going to do my first annual end of the year show. Always wanted to do an end of the year show, just collect some moments and memories from the year of 2025. And so here I am doing a show. I'm going to start out, if you're listening to the show, I'm going to start out with maybe slightly more business related things. And then we're going to move into more personal related things like book of the year, tech of the year, moment of the year, and my songs of the year, things like that. So without further ado, here we go. We're going to start with the book of the year. I read maybe 40 books this year. Many of them were business books, some inspirational, some spiritual. The books that made it to the top of the list, I'm going to give you some honorable mentions. At the beginning of the year, I read The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, and I really enjoyed that book and the introspective nature and the questions that it asked, and thinking about how many of the problems in my life and the barriers I have are because of myself. The mountain is you. And so I really enjoyed that book. I thought that book could have benefited from reading it with a discussion group of some sort. My next book was Stories That Sell by Matthew Dix. He's from The Moth. He did The Moth radio show and Story Slam and some other things that he just really wrote down some excellent advice on how to capture your stories. And I I try to do the homework for life that he calls it, where you write down moments that matter. Well, I call them moments that matter. He calls them story for life, but the moments that matter, and trying to capture that 5-second moment where something changes that connects to people. The big insight from that book was you can share about your trip to Hawaii, or you can share about your car accident or life-changing, medical emergency, but that doesn't always connect you to people, because people might not be able to relate to those big, splashy action moments or meaningful moments. But what they can connect to is the 5 seconds of realization where something has changed in your heart and mind. And I really just enjoyed that that discussion. The Coaching Habit by Michael Stanier, Stanier, was also an excellent book. There were 7 questions that he asks, and now I ask 3 to 4 of them every time I do a coaching session. My favorite question is the wrap-up question. I think that's question number 7, where it's like, what was useful for you, or what are you taking away from this session? Which really cements the learning for the person, and they get to put the meaning on it. And it's just been a wonderful addition to the coaching repertoire. The top 2 books of the year, Go Giver. It helped me understand the power of being more human, like adding value and respecting other people, and just in a world where everything's AI and pressure driven and what can I get out of you, you can be somebody who can go and be high achieving, but also a giver. And I really enjoyed that Go Giver. My book of the year has to be The Coach Builder by Donald Miller. It has really impacted how I see building coaching products and coaching platforms and just services. And it helped me take all the coaching and training that I had been doing over the last several years and really simplify it. Like, he really simplified it and gave actionable steps for coaches. So I enjoyed that. All right, moving on. My program of the year. So there were 3 programs, Kajabi, Descript, and Canva, that I used a ton. Let me just say, Descript is my program of the year. Descript helps me edit my videos and the audio, and they keep adding. Why it's number 1 is they keep adding more and more AI services and tools that make it easier, and templates that make it easier. And it's now easier to edit the video and make things sound correct. It's a really, really good program. Kajabi, maybe 2 years ago, was my number 1 because they did everything that I wanted to for a coaching business, or I could host my courses on there. I have my podcast on there. They have been adding AI tools. They have a cohort program, a coaching program, a community program, web pages, funnels, email list. Like it is full service. What I don't like is they like jacked up the price again. And I'm just like, they jacked up the price and they added some features kind of behind a paywall. I'm just like, well, that's not what, when I signed up, it was buy everything for one low-ish price, or one price that you would have been paying for, an email list, a web podcast hoster, funnels, video editing, all that stuff. But I don't know, they raised the price and it just makes me not as high on what they offer for people who are just starting out. For people who have an established coaching business and they want to go to a full service and remove some programs and streamline some things, yeah, I think that's a very reasonable thing to do, but not for the person just first starting out, that they're dipping their toes into coaching business. And that's when I got Kajabi, I was like, oh, I'm going to be helping therapists make courses and coaching products, and all they'll need is one program. And that is still true, but the cost is now prohibitive, and it annoys me. It really annoys me. So Kajabi is still up there. I still use it and I still like it. It's just not as high up there. And I chose Canva over Adobe Express for my program, or, Descript is the program, but Canva made the list. Adobe Express is an honorable mention. I kind of like the layout and the text fields and the templates of Adobe Express, and it works really well with Kajabi. However, Canva is just, everybody I work with uses Canva. And so I use Canva too. And it's still a very useful and relatively low priced program. So that was program of the year. Podcast of the year. I have 3 down here. The number 3 is Politics by Justin Robert Young. What I like about this show is it's unsensationalized facts most of the time. I think he's left-leaning, but he doesn't wear a left-leaning flag, and so it's reasonable, and he makes a lot of good points, and he brings on guests from both sides, and he discusses the issues. He gives the news updates, and then they discuss on topics. And just in the world of politics, where it's like, who can you trust and who's not sensationalizing things, he was a very good breath of fresh air. And when something big happened, I would go and listen to his show to kind of get a centralized, balanced perspective that wasn't too far one way or the other. So hopefully that's a compliment to him. I really enjoyed his show. Next was Therapy for Your Money with Julie Harris. Short plug here. I edit Therapy for Your Money. I'm the podcast producer and really enjoy that show. But man, I love the energy Julie brings to the topic of accounting and helping private practice owners make money. And it's a joy to listen to the episode a couple times as I'm editing it and finding like the right words and the right pictures for the video. And then writing some of the blog posts and the show notes. It's just a joy because I get to learn about this accounting side and business running side from a professional, and her team are amazing. So, yeah, that's my most listened to show because I edit it, but I love it. Like every week, I love listening to that show. And then finally, I have my number one show. It's an entertainment show. Is Film Sack. Scott Johnson and his crew from Frog Pants Studio or something. Frog Pants. Anyways, they produce a show that is mining the depths of film entertainment for all mankind, I guess is the tagline. And it's 4 guys talking about B plus movies. And they watch a show and they'll talk about it. So we're not talking like Oscar winner movies here. They're you know movies that you might have heard about with actors that you may or may not have heard about. Then they'll talk about the director. They'll talk about social implications and make jokes. And so I enjoy that show. It's something I look forward to. So that's Film Sack. All right, we're starting to get into let's do one more sort of businessy one. My favorite tech of the year was the Sony WH-1000 XM5. It's these headphones. If you're watching the video, the ones I wear, I love them. Like, they're noise canceling. They're very comfortable. I wear headphones maybe 6, 7, 8 hours a day for editing and video and meetings. And I can barely hear what's going outside the room, and they sound great. And I don't even use the noise canceling feature all the time. The battery is great. The features are great. It's just it was on the expensive side. I think I got it on sale last year for like $250. I think it's $299 right now on the Sony site. But man, if you love audio and you want comfort and you want something that is well made, sounds great, these Sony, what are they? WH-1000 XM5 noise canceling. Wonderful. Best piece of tech I've bought in a long time. And I can't, I love wearing them and listening to music. Worst piece of tech I bought two things this year, mostly. And it was called the Logitech MX Creative Console, and I thought I would use it. It's a dial and buttons, and you use it for editing and programs and presentations. I haven't used it for presentations, and I thought I would use it to edit my videos and, like, do things quicker and have buttons. But with the shortcuts that I know and how long I've been doing it, it didn't really save me a lot of time, and it wasn't really made for Descript. It was made for some of the other, like, Adobe products. So it's kinda sitting on my desk. It makes me look professional, like, it lights up and does neat things, but I'm not using it. So, kinda wish I wouldn't have bought that or not bought that yet, or may and I'm not gonna switch from Descript right now because I have a great, it's my program of the year. So that's something I wish I wouldn't have bought. Okay, we're gonna move into my drink of the year. I had 3 top drinks of the year: coffee, Diet Coke, and water. And for this year, I do love a good Diet Coke, and I love my coffee in the morning, but as water wins. Why does water win? Because it keeps me refreshed. The other drinks kind of wear me down a little bit, and when I drink more water, I get less headaches. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I love a good refreshing glass of water, and we've been putting some. I like ice in mine and maybe some flavored squirty stuff, flavor mix a little bit, but most of the time, just a good glass of water, something I love. So that's my drink of the year. My socks of the year. If you know anything about me, I love looking semi-professional. Today I'm wearing my Marvel t-shirt, but oh well. But I love looking the part, but I also like having a silly side, so I have socks. I like to buy just fun socks. So my 3 favorite socks this year are, um, my camping socks. I bought, just they look like dress socks, but they have campers and RVs and fires on them. And I have a camping group that I go with, and so when I go to their house and they see my socks, they're like, "Oh, they're camping socks," and everybody loves those socks because it reminds us of the summertime camping. So I have camping socks. They're just blue dressy socks with campers on them. Then I have a wild pair of socks that are like neon green and orange, and they're my Sour Patch Kids socks. They get a reaction from my wife, and that's kinda why they're on the list. She doesn't really like them, but she tolerates them. She wishes I would grow up sometimes, so I just found this out recently that she's not super thrilled with those socks when I wear them to church. But yeah, those Sour Patch Kids socks I really like. I like the reaction I get. And then my favorite pair of socks, though, which is sort of in the middle between the Sour Patch and the camping socks, are my Godzilla socks. And my Godzilla socks have a big picture of Godzilla on the side, and they look like regular socks until you look, they go up the leg and there's this giant Godzilla creature. So Those are my favorite socks of the year. All right, we're doing a little getting sillier here. Songs of the year. So I went to iTunes and asked it what I'd listened to this year, and this kind of surprised me. So here they are. My number 4 listened to album was the Doom soundtrack. So Doom is a video game, and there's this it's like on the instrumental side, but it's the metal instrumental side. So I guess I listened to that. I listened to that song 14 times. Then there was another video game soundtrack on the instrumental. It was Divinity 2. And then when the Superman movie came out, there was a song 5 Years Time by Noah and the Whale and that group. And I listened to that 16 times. I guess when the movie came out, I listened to it over and over again. It's the song where Mr. Wonderful goes to the camp to figure out where Superman went. If you saw that movie. So I just listened to that over and over again. And actually, I should have done movie of the year. I will do movie of the year. I'm going to write that down. But Superman was a good movie. So, and then this surprised me because I don't even remember listening to this very often, but I have like iTunes and probably all the songs of my 90s, 80s, late 80s, early early 90s youth in there. And so there's thousands of songs, but my number 1 song was Metallica Sad But True. I That kind of surprised me. My album of the year, number 4 was Jack Johnson, Sing Along and Lullabies from the film Curious George. I really enjoy that soundtrack and Jack Johnson. Then there were other soundtracks. Soundtracks made the top 3. So Star Wars soundtrack, the best Star Wars movie, Empire Strikes Back. Then there was the Hans Zimmer soundtrack. So he's a movie composer, and I can't remember all the songs he did, but I think he did Dune. I think Dune was released this year or last year, and so I downloaded those songs. So Hans Zimmer, and then the number 1 was the Doom soundtrack for some reason. So that is there. I have two main sound, what are they called? Playlists. I have a rock playlist and an instrumental playlist, and it looks like I played the rock playlist 16,000 minutes and the instrumental playlist about 10,000 minutes. So that's kind of where that broke out. Let's do movie of the year. I went to 3 or 4 movies this year. I can only remember the superhero movies, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I think number 3 was the Superman movie for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought James Gunn did a good job. Thought the characters were good. The music, of course, was amazing. The story was good. The villain was kind of weak, in my opinion, and it was a little crazy at times. But I enjoyed the. I at least it didn't fall on its face and be an embarrassment of a superhero movie. I thought it was capable, and I'm looking forward to new things. Number 2 was the new Avengers movie. They're not Squadron Supreme. What are they? The one. It's the one Marvel movie that I can't remember. So that tells you how good it was. I didn't write it down, so I'm just spitballing here. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny and good, and one of the better Marvel movies in a long time. And then number 1 was Fantastic Four. I collected Fantastic Four comic books growing up, and the movies in the 90s or early 2000s, they I just did not like them. Thought they did Doctor Doom all wrong. That's the villain. If you don't have a good villain, you don't have a good movie. And so I just thought he was so, generic villain, one-dimensional. So I was just like hoping upon hope that they did something right. And also Galactus, the big world-eating creature at the end. He in the first 2 movies he didn't show up. He was like a purple blob or something. It was just embarrassing and just not what you're looking for. So this movie did okay. Yeah, sure, there's some weak points and there's some story moments that aren't perfect. but it was a good movie. So if you like superhero movies and if you happen to collect Fantastic Four, like I did in the 80s, then you would definitely enjoy that movie. All right, moving before I get to my moments of the year, I have one more kind of silly moment, and that is my games of the year. I played on Steam. I played 16 games, and Fallout 4 was 46% of my playtime, and that's because I tried to get all the achievements for that game. I'm not really an achievement hunter for video games, but I did this time, and I 100%ed it. But it was kind of grueling and annoying at the end. So Fallout 4 though was number 2. Number 3 for me was Slay the Spire. It's a cheap indie game that you can play it on the Steam, you can play it on the Switch, you can play it on the go, you can play it on your phone. It's just a card battling deck builder game, and it has a lot of replayability, and there was a mod for it called Downfall. So I downloaded Downfall, and instead of being the hero, it makes you the villain. I don't know. It's a fun game. You can play it for 20 minutes and then put it back in the box and you're done. So Slay the Spire was my second video game of the year. And then my game of the year is that I played is something that was released 10 years ago, and that is my Heroes of the Storm game. It's a Blizzard Entertainment game. It's free to play. I'm a budget gamer, so free to play stuff is up my alley. And I used to play that with a bunch of guys for maybe six years, and then the game got stopped getting supported, and we kind of lost touch. This year we got back together for a few times and played that game, and it was fun, and it made me remember some of the good times when I was a little younger. And so yeah, Heroes of the Storm is it's a fun, easy game to pick up. Most of you probably, I'm guessing, don't listen to the show for my video game recommendations, but you know what? That's maybe you can glean a little bit about my what I like to do, and like I love strategy and fun. So I try to put that in everything I do. Honorable mention before I get to my moment of the year was these toys. You can't see them if you're listening to the podcast, but on the YouTube version, I have these potted plant buddies or plant pails. They're Legos that I put together. My son gave them to me for Christmas, and they're gonna go on my bookshelf. But it's neat. He's 21, not super sentimental, that kid, but I'm glad, he thought of me, he knew I like Legos, and he put some thought into getting that gift for me. So really appreciate that. That was the gift of the year. I'm gonna wrap up with my moment of the year. Something that was really surprising to me. I for For about 2 years, I ran a game of board game night at a local community center. So we had about 5 to 10 people at its height, and then during the summer, it kinda dwindled off, and then, we didn't have enough people to play games for a while, and so I stopped doing it for, like, from winter to winter, so almost a year, like 8 months or so. And then I started back up again. I started inviting people over to my house, and people were coming. And one of the guys there came over, and he played some games. And the second night he came back, as we were wrapping up, he's like, "You don't know, do you?" And I'm like, "No, what? What happened?" And he's like, "You know, in between when we had lost touch for 6, 8 months, his wife died. His wife had died. I didn't even know." And he was like, "I hadn't been going out and doing things, but you kept inviting me, and it meant so much that you included me, in these things, and this is one of the first things I've done in the last 8 months with other people." And, yeah, it was just a really touching moment, and you never know who you're gonna impact, you never know what your actions are going to do. You never know what people are suffering through, as they're going through. So, um, yeah, he was just very appreciative and thankful. So you never know what you're doing. You never know what your actions are going to do or how they impact people. So I ask you to, find ways to reach out to other people and check in with people and just include people in things. It's tough. The world is getting less and less connected, people feeling more and more alone. So don't if somebody comes to your mind, just reach out to them, talk to them, chat with them, be a good friend, be a good neighbor, and have a great 2026. This is James for the Scaling Therapist podcast. We'll see you next year.